this is kind of flown under the radar because everybody's been so wrapped up in the NBA betting scandal. But last week, the NCAA's Division I cabinet approved a rule change to allow college athletes to bet on professional sports, and Division II and Division III management councils also signed off on it, allowing it to go into effect this coming Saturday. NCAA athletes are still prohibited from betting on college sports and sharing information about college sports with bettors. Betting sites also aren't allowed to advertise or sponsor NCAA championships. So like, all right, listen, we don't want to sponsor your championships, but all these athletes, feel free to give it a whirl. All right, spin the chamber and see what happens on some of these betting apps. Now, Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, he asked the NCAA to rescind the pending rule change that will allow athletes and the athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports coming this Saturday, according to a copy of a memo obtained by ESPN. Pat Narduzzi, the head coach at Pitt, he also aired his thoughts on this new rule and allowing college athletes to bet on professional sports, and he said this.
I'm not a gambler. I just don't understand it. I'm not addicted to anything. I just don't think it's a great thing to teach our young people how to do. It's hard enough in the compliance office of trying to get your guys not to gamble. You can gamble on a boxing match. You can gamble, on horse races because it's not an NCAA sport. But who's gambling on the horse races, really? I mean, unless you go to the horse track. But now, it's a thing on your phone, and you can pick it up and you can get on an app. And it's like, what are we doing? And once you do it once and you win, you want to go do it again. It becomes an addiction. I just think it's not good.
So. That was Pat Narduzzi airing his concerns about college athletes being allowed to gamble on professional sports starting Saturday.
It just seems interesting. It's a topic that was being discussed, debated, obviously, fought over. Who was a part of these conversations that led to the conclusion of being that these young men and women at the collegiate level should be allowed to partake in sports betting at, the pro level? That would be what my first question would be.
It's also interesting that they're like, look, they can bet on professional sports, do not bet on college sports. They do realize that when you go on your DraftKings app, it's just like one little tab away.
I just don't understand why there is even the conversation of it being a compromise. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like that's so out of place. It's so out of place. Like, even like, and take this into consideration. More often than not, a junior, a senior, a red shirt junior, a red shirt senior, hell, sometimes a red shirt sophomore are 21 years old. And I think it's inappropriate for college student athletes to endorse liquor. Like, I don't think that they should be endorsing that. So
what about Stick City Lager?
I don't think that they should be endorsing it. And so to me, when you're talking about something like gambling, that one is, how I view gambling on sports as something that certainly you have to want to do. Like, that's something like a casual person, like, yeah, here and there, you can find cases of people who casually go on to these sites. But for the most part, if you're downloading one of these gambling sites, you're gambling. And so I don't feel like opening up that door and saying, oh, there's an exception here. Don't bet on college because you're here, but you can bet on pros because you're not there. I think that's poor judgment. I don't understand how, morally speaking, how that makes sense. It almost comes across as the agenda of what sports betting represents. It's bigger. Sports betting, what the consumer presents, even at the college level with the active athletes, it presents the opportunity to increase the bottom line, and I think that's a tad bit like off-putting.
Like, here's what I love about it, that I don't get it. I don't understand why anybody thought that this was a great idea. That being said,
as I'm saying, why should it even be a debate?
All right, so let's have let's throw out possible reasons as to why they thought that this was appropriate. Maybe because they're like, well, look, I mean, they're getting NIL money now, so if we can make a few bucks off them, why not? Like, let's not turn down any business. Like, I'm being serious because I don't understand any of it.
Maybe they grew up in a casino. Maybe their family members were a part of sports booking and casinos.
And I swear to God, like I'm saying all of this and laughing. I'm not joking. Like, maybe there is some element of, well, look, I mean, you know, they're being paid now. Well, let's treat them like adults. Like, let's you have the right to go in there. Or maybe they're trying to snuff some of these people out. Like, hey, you know, we gotta figure out, you know, in real time right now who we can trust, who we can't, and let's start, you know, going down that road. But it is interesting that they just randomly decided, you know what, starting November 1st, feel free. Like, everybody go ahead and give it a whirl and go gamble on professional sports if you're a college athlete. It's just it
seems like it's crowbarred
almost
into an agenda.
Almost like you're trying to bait some people into doing some stuff. Like, oh, here we go. Like, let's throw this in there and see who takes the bait on this.
Like, let's be real here, right? You go on to the site, you start seeing the lines and stuff like that.
It's right there.
It's right there in front of you, bro.
It's like putting a bottle of vodka in an AA meeting next to the cookies and being like, all right, let's see who's serious about this. Like, let's see.
Like, unless you told me that they had a site that was specifically for athletes in college that did not show any college sports on that site, on that app. And even then I'd be like, yeah, but you're still feeding something that could be like a gateway to them going on to another site and doing just that. But again, I've always come to the conclusion, this has always been my conclusion on sports betting. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Like, if you're going to enjoy
talking to me?
No, what I'm saying is, like, why do you log in? Why do you place the bets? Why do you collect the money? And I get it that it's a pastime.
But what's your motivation?
And why wouldn't you just I can get my fix by telling you, like, I would bet on this game and I go this route. I take the over-unders on that, boom. And I can get if I'm going to get a rush off of the bet, I can get that off of somebody who really does it and saying, yeah, do this.
It's also,
you know what I mean? Like, why are you directly doing it?
Like,
that's what I've never understood.
Here's also the part of this that I don't think, because look, I think this is awesome.
Just have somebody else do it. That's what I wanted to say. All right. I tried to be light about it, but why wouldn't you just have somebody else do it?
Of course, and you could have always done that, and people probably did. I think this is awesome because I don't get it. I think you're really putting this out there just to see what's going to happen next. And I'm all about the chaos. I'm all about what's going to be the better story for the radio show. I mean, you know, hey, listen, not trying to hope for negativity, but if it's presented and there's a bad ending to all this, I'm in. Like, I think that's more entertaining and it's more fun to discuss. The part about the Terry Rozier NBA story and the NBA story that I think ties into this is the real issue that they had was the fact that people were giving away information about statuses of players' health and whether or not they were going to be partaking in upcoming games, most notably LeBron James and the Damon Jones story. Damon Jones was tipping people off to LeBron's not playing in this game, hammer the Milwaukee Bucks at the time. You mean to tell me that none of these college players like, I'm not saying this would ever happen, but just for
Aren't
example,
doing the same thing.
well, they just played with these guys. Like if you're Jackson Dart's teammate at Ole Miss and he's starting for the Giants, you don't think Jackson Dart's aware of who's playing and who's not in the upcoming Giants game? And so all of a sudden somebody from Ole Miss says, "Hey man, is such and such going to be playing? Like what are we looking at?" He goes, "Nah, we're going to go run heavy on this." There are props you can do for rushing yards, passing yards. He's the quarterback of that team. He's probably still got friends that are at Ole Miss. They could hit him up, and that's insider. That's insider information.
Here's the thing: who's to say that's just not a normal, regular conversation?
Yes, and it's not. There's no ill intent. Like there's
no ill intent.
He's just like, man, like how's it going up there? What's going? I don't know, man. This week, coach is playing it slow.
We got a guard and a tackle down.
You can bet on all that.
We're going to go. We're probably going to run to the right side this week.
I'm telling you, like tie it together. Hey, for some reason, we get a lot of Ole Miss players that are betting on Giants games. I don't know what it is. Like for some reason they're betting the over/under on passing and rushing yards in the Giants games. I don't know what it is. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because they played with the Giants starting quarterback last year and now they can gamble on those games. It is, to Narduzzi's credit, Pat Narduzzi said it. I think it's a bad idea. You're right, and that's what makes it awesome. Because
that's
somehow,
crazy.
some way, this is going to blow up in their face, and I don't get it.
I just don't understand. Why wouldn't you call your friend in New York City or in California or in Wyoming or Montana and tell them to place the bet, and then you get the money off of them?
Look,
I'll never understand why you would directly connect yourself to doing bets that you have, what you would say, air quotes, inside information to.
So this is how it used to be done.
What's that to stop you from doing it for yourself?
Agreed. Like
there's no way to really fully regulate the rules of engagement of how all of this works.
So I probably shouldn't. Well, no, I'll air this out. That's fine. So how it used to go back in the day, because I knew a guy that would handle gambling. And basically what he would do is, because if you had information on certain sporting events, you didn't want to load up heavy on an event or something like that, because all of a sudden it would flag people and people would catch wind of the fact that, there's a lot of action coming on in this one spot on this one player in this one game. What's happening here? And next thing you know, you can't gamble at that casino. And that happens in Vegas all the time. Dana White, who's a notorious blackjack player, isn't allowed at the Palms Casino because he won too much money off them. They're not looking to get done over. They're looking to do the doing over of people. That's why the Vegas looks the way that it looks. So what you would do back in the day is, if you wanted to bet $100,000 on a sporting event, a result, like whatever it was, instead of betting $100,000 at, let's say, the MGM Grand Sportsbook, you would take $10,000 and you would go bet it at 10 different places, so that way it wouldn't look so out of the ordinary that there would be a bunch of money coming in. Well, theoretically, if you wanted to take that same approach, you didn't really need the app to go ahead and do that. If you're a professional athlete and you've got information, you could hit up some guy and say, hey, take some cash, go to Caesars, bet on this result, and then we'll split the winnings. There's no paper trail. There's no, you're not on it. Like, this stuff has always existed, but now they're making it so easy for people to get into that world and get caught up in some stuff that maybe they're not even really fully aware that they're doing anything wrong. Like all those NFL players, Calvin Ridley and Jameson Williams and all those guys that got suspended, and Ridley got suspended for a year. Calvin Ridley was just sitting at home. He was away from the team and was like,
I'm going to bet on the game.
Yeah, I'm going to bet on my team, and I'm going to bet on 6 other teams in a parlay and see what happens. Not even thinking, oh, by the way, you're going to be suspended for a year if you do that.